Silbury Hill sighting. Tall beings, a formation, a crop inspection. Paranormal activity from extraterrestrial beings was witnessed by an unnamed off-duty police officer near a crop circle at Silbury Hill in July 2009. At first, the officer in question thought these beings were forensic scientists, as they were dressed all in white and seemed to be examining the area. But then he saw they were all identical, with blonde hair and standing more than 6 feet tall. He also felt some surge of static electricity throughout the field. It was then that he knew this wasn't normal. The officer claimed that one of these beings stood at the edge of the hill, another stood several yards further along the tram line, and yet another stood halfway down the hill. The officer said he knew they were inspecting the crop, and when asked how he knew, he replied, "You know what day of the week it is, but no one has told you. You haven't seen a calendar, you just know." Andrew Russell and Colin Andrews, two crop circle researchers, investigated this incident. As they spoke to the officer, they began to wonder if he had an unknown psychic awareness. The officer said that the figures began to race away at top speed, as though he were watching fast-forward mode on a videotape. They raced away and then vanished. During the interview, the hair stood up on the officer's arms as he told the tale and relived it. Russell, who was also a clinical hypnotherapist, ran through the experiment with the officer a number of times. He even drove and timed the route. According to Russell, there's a discrepancy of 5 minutes between the time accounted for by the officer and the actual time it took to run the route. Following the event, the officer was confronted with several poltergeist experiences. Knocks were heard at his front door, but no one would be there when he answered. Electrical items began to break down, and even worse, the officer felt a strange presence in his home. When he would turn a corner from his kitchen, he'd see a sudden flash of an 8-foot black figure looming in front of him. The officer began to have flashes of knowing. He understood that the figures had been clone-like, identical, and with a common intelligence. He doesn't believe they created the crop circle, but he does believe that the beings communicated to him that he shouldn't have witnessed this event. The officer has no idea where these ideas generate from. He just feels they are the absolute truth. The officer also noticed a strange orange globe in the sky above his house. He awoke from sleep one night and went outside to smoke a cigarette when he spotted this strange floating orb hanging above a few hundred yards from his garden. Like the beings, the globe stayed for a bit, hovering and swaying back and forth before shooting off at lightning speed. To this day, these paranormal events remain a mystery.